So this was the Next 5 Years Executive Conference. It is a conference really designed to get people thinking about some of the changes happening in the marketplace. It's myself and the other organizers' belief that we're going to see a tremendous amount of change taking place in the global markets in the next 5 years. A number of us have been having conversations about some of these market changes, some of the shifts that we're seeing, and it grew out of this idea of why aren't people talking about this to we really need to have this conversation. So starting that conversation a little over a year ago, it really developed thanks to Howard Olson at AgCountry Farm Credit Services, Jake Hamlin at CHS, Steve Olson at Steve Olson Consulting. We're really the core group in getting this started and the ball rolling.
Mark Jirik from Northern Crops Institute brought it up to me and a few others and just said, hey, what if? What if we pulled together a group to talk about the next 5 years? And we all like that idea because it's one of these big picture topics that people think about, they talk about, but they don't take the time to focus on. And by bringing in speakers that have knowledge in that broader context, we're able to bring something directly to the companies and associations in this region.
I was here today to kind of help identify what are some of the threats and opportunities that might be coming at agriculture over the next 5 years. Try to figure out what are some of the things that we haven't thought of. What are the worst thing is we don't know what we don't know. And this helped to bring some of that forward. We'd hear the speaker and then we get a chance to talk about it at our table. And we talk about, what did we hear that was big and important for me and for us and our company? And then from there, it's like, now what do we do with it next? What are the next steps?
With the style that we use, it's different than most conferences. Most conferences people will go to, you sit in the audience, you listen to the speaker, maybe taking notes. In this case, you listen to the speaker so you get that knowledge and insight, but then you have a chance to reflect on what's this mean to me, and then also talk with others about what they picked up from it, learn from them what their experiences are, and then again, ultimately get to a point where you're identifying what actions that can I take in order to carry this forward.
We started out with an overall look at agriculture from the global geopolitics really, and what does this mean for agriculture around the world and bringing that home. So Jacob Shapiro was extremely interesting.
The world is a really interesting place right now when we start talking about deglobalization, when we start talking about energy markets, and Jacob really did a fantastic job of highlighting a lot of the issues that are happening and what that might mean to growers in this region as well as the United States as a whole.
And from there we went into the supply chain and production agriculture and feeding the world, really.
Nelson Neal talked a lot about what's changing in the world as well. Talked a lot about both food production, crop production, but also some of the inputs and some of the changes that are happening just within CHS and around the world. A lot of things that I don't think a lot of people thought about. It's a technology, but it's also the overall markets and a lot of the opportunities that producers and businesses here in the upper Midwest really need to be paying attention to.
And then sustainability was a big topic. Lots of discussion about what does sustainability really mean and what's agriculture's role in that.
There's still a lot of questions, I think, in people's minds, but I also think that's part of that topic, right? Because the market is still trying to figure out what do the carbon markets mean, what does sustainability mean? And really, she did a nice job of explaining that it is the consumer driving business, driving governments to create policy around sustainability. And that's really what growers and our industry needs to be focused on.
And then I think, wrapping it up with some discussion about energy and agriculture. And we're at a juncture here where all of a sudden agriculture is going to play a big part into our energy in the country.
So David Ripplinger always has a very good perspective on what's going on in the energy markets. It's the job that he does day in and day out. And David did a nice job of highlighting how this energy transition in agriculture is changing.
My role was a facilitator, so I helped to develop some questions and to help the audience tap into what they learned from the presenters and have a discussion among themselves about what it meant to them, what they took from that, and then learn from each other about each other's experience.
We had kind of the who's who of agriculture in this region. We're here today. And it's just great to get that many minds together and hear some of the same things and have a chance to talk about it and what are the implications for us. So huge success. Yeah, it was great.
We were planning this. It was very exciting to be part of it because we could see the bigger picture pieces of it. And I think that's what's exciting to bring it to this audience. And what we were hoping for was that they would have some good discussions, and that's certainly what they had. The reason that we created this is to strengthen the region's agriculture by bringing organizations together to talk about big picture, big impact issues. And we certainly accomplished that just from the feedback that we have received from people, and looking forward to taking this to the next level.
One of the things that amazed myself and some of the other conference organizers is that at the end of the day, people are still sitting at tables having those conversations. To me, that was a sign of the power and the impact of this conference. I think based on all the feedback I've received so far, people were very, very happy with it. It exceeded expectations. I would declare it a success. And I really have to thank all of our sponsors, all the NCI staff. Everybody just did a really nice job of hitting it out of the ballpark this year.